Recently, Israel has recognized Somaliland as an independent country. Israel is the first United Nations member country to do so. Where is Somaliland located? Why did Israel recognize it as an independent country? What was the reaction of Arab countries? What is Israel's strategic game behind this move? In this video, we will discuss all of this. So, let us begin. Recently, Israel took a decision that shocked Africa. Arab countries became extremely angry. Even Israel's closest ally, the United States, did not support Israel in this decision. Israel's decision was to recognize Somaliland as an independent country. The Israeli Prime Minister signed a joint declaration with the President of Somaliland. Under this declaration, Israel recognized Somaliland as an independent and sovereign state. This means now both countries will establish full diplomatic relations. Official state-to-state ties will be seen between Israel and Somaliland. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel's former recognition of Somaliland should be seen in the spirit of Abraham Accords. As we know, during Trump's first term in 2020, the United States brokered the Abraham Accords to normalize relations between Israel and several Arab countries. Both the United States and Israel wanted relations to normalize between Israel and Muslim-majority countries. They wanted to increase economic cooperation. They wanted to enhance security collaboration. They wanted to expand technology sharing so that stability could be maintained in the region. They wanted trade not to be affected. Because of the Israel-Palestine conflict, relations between Israel and Arab countries in the region have remained very strained. So, to bring stability to the region and to promote mutual prosperity and peace building, the Abraham Accords were signed in 2020. Now, in 2025, Israel is presenting its recognition of Somaliland as a step taken in the spirit of the Abraham Accords. This is because Israel believes it is normalizing ties with a Muslim-majority country. Somaliland is a Muslim-majority country located in the Horn of Africa. However, this country does not have international recognition. It is a self-declared country. It has declared itself an independent republic on its own. The international community believes that this entire region is part of Somalia. According to them, there is no separate independent country called Somaliland. This is the reason why, as soon as Israel recognized Somaliland as an independent country, Somalia immediately called it a violation of its sovereignty. The African Union also rejected Israel's decision. Strong reactions came from Arab countries as well. Arab countries condemned Israel's decision. Only Israel and Somaliland welcomed this move. Somaliland considers itself an independent country separate from Somalia. It behaves like a sovereign country. Somaliland has its own government. It has its own military. It has its own currency. It has separate passports. Elections are held there. The country has its own distinct national flag. So, Somaliland behaves exactly like an independent country. However, no UN member state has recognized Somaliland as a separate independent sovereign country. To meet its strategic interests, Israel is the only UN member state that has recognized Somaliland as an independent country. According to the international community, this country located in the Horn of Africa is Somalia. There is no independent country called Somaliland here. But Somaliland and now Israel as well believe that Somaliland is an independent country. It is located on the southern coast of the Gulf of Aden. Djibouti lies to its northwest. Ethiopia lies to its south and west. And Somalia lies to its east. Around 5 to 6 million people live in this country. Because this country has not been recognized by the international community, several countries such as the UK, the UAE, Ethiopia, and Taiwan engage with Somaliland. However, despite this engagement, they maintain only informal ties. They have not given formal recognition to Somaliland so far. All these countries engage with Somaliland because, compared to Somalia, Somaliland is relatively peaceful, stable, and democratic. Somalia has been struggling with conflict for years. It faces problems such as piracy. Due to the Al-Qaeda affiliated Islamist group Al-Shabaab, Somalia experiences a high level of violence. Al-Shabaab wants to overthrow Somalia's government. It wants to turn Somalia into a strict Islamic state. It wants to impose Sharia law in Somalia. To counter it, Somalia's federal government receives support from the African Union. It also has the support of countries such as Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Egypt. For counterterrorism, countries such as the United States, Turkey, the UAE, and the UK support Somalia's government. The Somali government also receives support from the European Union and the United Nations. But despite all this, instability continues in Somalia. Compared to Somalia, Somaliland is relatively stable. This is where Israel's strategic game begins. First of all, look at the strategic location of Somaliland. Somaliland is located near a very important waterway. This waterway is called the Bab al-Mandab Strait. This narrow water body connects the Red Sea with the Indian Ocean. A huge portion of global trade passes through this route. This strait is extremely important for ships operating from Israel's Elad port. In such a situation, having the presence of a friendly country near this choke point would be very beneficial for Israel. This is especially important because Yemen is located nearby. In Yemen, Iran-backed Houthi rebels are present. They attack ships in the Red Sea. This disrupts trade in the region. By recognizing Somaliland, Israel wants to create an asset for itself near Yemen. This will help Israel counter Iran and the Houthis. So for Israel's security, Somaliland can prove to be very valuable. Because of its proximity to Yemen, by normalizing ties with Somaliland, Israel will be able to monitor Houthi threats. It will be able to increase intelligence sharing and naval cooperation with Somaliland. In the long term, this can prove beneficial for Israel. This is the reason why Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad, has maintained engagement with Somaliland for decades. This is part of Israel's Red Sea security strategy. However, Arab countries are not happy with Israel's move. Countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar, which are members of the Gulf Cooperation Council, have called Israel's recognition of Somaliland a violation of international law. They have called it an infringement of Somalia's sovereignty. They have described it as a threat to regional stability. Countries like the UAE and Bahrain, which signed the Abraham Accords, now find themselves in a difficult position. Israel has increased their dilemma. On one hand, they are under pressure to condemn Israel like other Arab countries. On the other hand, they are bound by the Abraham Accords with Israel. Their economic interests are also linked to Somaliland's Berbera port. This is the reason why these countries are hesitating to strongly condemn Israel. But the African Union and other Arab countries have strongly criticized Israel. They have totally rejected Israel's recognition of Somaliland. According to them, Somaliland is an integral part of Somalia. It is not a separate country. The African Union fears that if Somaliland is recognized today, it could encourage other movements across Africa. Separatist claims could gain momentum. Border disputes could be reopened. This would not be good for Africa's stability. Palestine has also strongly condemned Israel's move because Palestine fears that Palestinians may be displaced from Gaza and sent to Somaliland. Palestine fears that Israel is preparing Somaliland as a destination. They fear that Palestinians could be forcibly relocated there. Somaliland has assured that there is no such plan. It has assured that nothing like this will happen. But the fears of Palestine and Arab countries continue. For now, a point of relief for them is that the United States has not recognized Somaliland. This means that, for the time being, the United States continues to support Somalia's territorial integrity. This is because the United States does not want its relations with Somalia to deteriorate by recognizing Somaliland. As discussed earlier, the United States cooperate with Somalia on counterterrorism efforts against Al-Shabaab. So, recognizing Somaliland would damage intelligence sharing and military cooperation with Somalia. Apart from this, there would be condemnation and backlash from groupings such as the African Union, the Arab League, the GCC, and the OIC. The United States is already facing international backlash because of President Trump's reckless policies. So, for now, The United States would not want to increase this backlash further by recognizing Somaliland. The Horn of Africa is already tense. The United States does not want instability to increase there. It does not want Red Sea security to be compromised. It does not want another front to open up in the region. This is why, unlike Israel, the United States has not recognized Somaliland so far. The Somaliland issue is extremely sensitive. You may remember that in 2024, Ethiopia signed an MOU with Somaliland. At that time, Somalia became very angry. Diplomatic tensions between Somalia and Ethiopia escalated. Ethiopia, which is a landlocked country, needed access to the sea. So it signed an MOU with Somaliland to gain access to coastal land near Berbera. This triggered a diplomatic standoff between Somalia and Ethiopia. To calm the situation, the African Union had to get involved. Turkey brokered talks between Ethiopia and Somalia. This shows how sensitive the issue is. Now, after Israel's recognition, this dispute may be revived once again. The United States is carefully observing how countries are reacting to Israel's move. This is because the United States also understands the strategic importance of Somaliland. China has a military base in neighboring Djibouti. China's influence in the region is increasing. In such a situation, the United States could use Somaliland as a hedge against China. For now, Israel has taken the initiative and the United States has kept itself away from the issue. But considering Somaliland's strategic importance and the fact that Somaliland also recognizes Taiwan, it could become an important asset for both Israel and the United States in the future. Because of its proximity to strategic sea routes, sooner or later, Somaliland could turn into a playground for great power competition. This increases fears of African fragmentation and another proxy war. In the coming time, it will be important to see whether recognizing Somaliland remains an isolated decision by Israel or whether other countries gradually begin to recognize it as well. Because this single move has the potential to shape the future of the Horn of Africa. Let us see what happens.